I graduated in architecture from the National College of Arts, and after I have practiced as an architect and staying in Karachi, I realized that there was a real dearth of good art galleries. There was a real dearth of art galleries in Karachi, so I thought, okay, why not do that? Because for me, art, running a gallery is not just a business, it's also a social service in which you are bringing forward what people are doing in the art world today. And as I've been to NCA, I've got a year's grounding in art, because jo 5 saal jo hote hain, out of which the first year, the fundamental year, is done along with the fine art and design students. So that was that worked in my favor, because I went back and I knew most of the people who were accomplished artists, or they were teaching, or they were related to the art field. So I've been able to get some very good artists work from all over the country, not just Lahore, but from the interior of Sindh, from Quetta, from Balochistan, from Punjab, from everywhere. I successfully canvass holds about 2 shows a month, in which we exhibit established and very young artists, like the show downstairs that we are having at the moment is of these 4 young artists who graduated last year. Before that, we had Ijazul Hassan, who is a very senior established artist who's been painting for the past 50 years. So we kind of try to give our patrons as much exposure to the arts as possible. We have sculptures, mixed media, digital imagery, painting, everything that is happening in Pakistan at the moment. We try to bring it to the viewers' notice. When you look for art, you actually have to realize what your own requirements are, what type of homes you live in, and what type of person you are. You can't just go on somebody else's recommendation. Log aate hain, they'll turn around and say, "Ke fala artist ka kaam aap hame dikha de." But you can tell that they wouldn't be able to live with that artist's work. There's some works of art which are extremely strong and which need a certain area, a certain place to be seen at their potential. So what we do is we try to gauge as to whether the person really likes that kind of art or not by talking to them about their lifestyle, about themselves. And then we show them art accordingly. And we tell them not to buy art just for the name, because that will not give them any joy. If you don't make any contact with the painting, you're not going to appreciate it. It's not about just buying names. It's about enjoying art. Art is an aesthetic pleasure also. So if it's not doing anything to you, then why buy it? And we explain to people that is range ke andar budget constraints are very important. What type of family life they have is very important. A lot of people cannot have figures or nudes or something like that. So we let them know what type of work we have, and accordingly they choose it. If they let us know, basic things like finances, medium, whether they like watercolors or oils or sculptures or whatever, then accordingly we show them stuff, and in that they choose whatever they like. Budget constraints are important in the sense that, well, they are important and they're not important, because it's not necessary that every good piece of art has to be expensive, and it's not necessary that every good piece of art has to be cheap either. So it really depends. If you have an idea of what type of budget you have, then at least you can look into it, and if you like something that is more than that, then, well, you can save towards it, or you can ask us to keep it aside for a couple of months or whatever till you have that kind of money to pay for it. And my thing is, it's art is something for posterity. So buy it because you really feel strongly for it. And even if it is a little more than your budget, then you can save, or keep it aside. We'll keep it aside for you as long as you tell us. But buy something that you really connect with, something that you like. Art is an investment because, and more so nowadays than anything else, because up till now we had a very, the market in Pakistan was not that strong, but for the last 3 years the art market has really picked up, and all of a sudden art has become a commodity. So if you're looking to buy art as an asset, then yes, then you will have to look at the kind of paintings you're buying, or the kind of person, the name that you're buying at. Having said that, if you invest in younger artists, if you follow the advice of the gallery owner or curator and ask them who they feel will be going places, or what type of art is making waves nowadays, we are all pretty much qualified to be able to tell you what to look for in art, and they can take it from there. It is very important to come to shows, because that will give you a wider horizon about art. It will expand your horizon, and it will make you see things that you were not even aware of. So even if you think, oh, this is not my cup of tea, still come and see it, because to see something that is not your cup of tea, you may see something that, or reiterate what you really like. To come to shows does not necessarily mean to buy. It just means that you're educating yourself, and your senses become finer tuned the more art you see, the more anything, the more music, the more any of these, the more you see it, the better tuned they become, and eventually you start differentiating yourself between what you like, what you don't like, or in other terms, what you think is good and not good. So yes, it is important to come to shows. However, art is something, it's very visual, it's very aesthetic. Most of the times people end up buying the first thing that they had liked, even after going around for 2 weeks trying to find something else. But it's that immediate, it's this first love type of thing, You fall in love with something and it grabs you. When people come in sometimes and they like something very much, and it's out of their budget or something, or they're not very sure about it, I tell them to go back, sleep over it, and come back. And if it really hits them, if it pulls at them, then they should come. Or if they can't choose between 3 or 4 paintings, I always tell them, close your eyes and think which painting comes to your mind immediately. And the painting that comes to the mind immediately is the one that they have bonded with most. It's not necessarily the biggest or the best or the boldest, it's the one that they've bonded with the most. It really depends on what the people are looking for. If they are looking to just browse and they don't want any help, then they should just say, no, we're fine, thank you. Having said that, I think it is better. It's not a question of sale or no sale, so you shouldn't feel conscious about asking somebody for help because you know that you're not going to buy something. That's not important. The thing that's important here is that you need to see art. Like I said, as there are no museums of art and you won't find other places where there will be so much art, you come into the gallery and you ask them, because there'll be only a limited number of paintings that are on for sale at any particular time that will be exhibited. The rest are in stock, they're in store, and you can't really see them. So what you need to do is you need to just look around and see what type of art grabs you, and ask them if they have more of that type of work, and then see it. If somebody comes and asks you if you need any help, don't feel embarrassed to ask them for help. I think that's a very society thing. We kind of back off when we have a salesperson coming to ask us if you need any help, and you immediately say, no, we're fine. It's not meant to make a sale. It's meant to just introduce you to art, to as much art as possible. So please feel free to ask. And you know, everybody is not an expert on everything, and I think that is what people need to feel confident about. You don't need to feel that you have to know about art to ask about it or talk about it. You should be comfortable enough to say, look, I don't know about it. Could you please help me out? That's it. And if you do that, then we would take it upon ourselves to try to give you as much knowledge or information as possible. You should be really comfortable with galleries. I tell people, please come, because at a stage where this country has no museums of art, I think the galleries, and all the galleries, not just myself, have a duty to the people to open their doors and to let people come in and see as much art as possible, because that's the only way you can educate the people about art. Our society, our nation is not an art-loving nation only because it hasn't been exposed to it. So the more you expose people, the more it will become an art-loving nation. So please come, bring your children, relax, enjoy the atmosphere, see art, and don't feel underconfident. That's why I've never had this plaque, rights of admission reserved, which almost all the other galleries do, because there shouldn't be any rights of admission reserved. It's not an elitist thing. This is something I really fight against. Art is not an elitist thing, because if it were elitist, then why are the artists not elitist? So how can you have one group constantly giving to the other? It's wrong. You come, art is a representation of the time, it's about society, it's about the world you live in. It's an expression, it's a dialogue. So please come in and see it. It's really, really important.